Hi, this is George Antone here. I want to share a quick story with you that actually affects you. In the late 1990s, I used to work for a company called Intuit. Intuit are the makers of QuickBooks, and the products I worked for them on is our Quicken, which was the number one personal finance software on the planet, Quicken Financial Planner, and some other ones. And what I found deep in the source code, so I was one of the software developers there. What I found deep in the source code was this formula that actually proves that many people are going to have to work for the rest of their lives. Okay. And it's going to be very hard to attain financial freedom. In fact, many investors, maybe you also, it's going to be very hard to achieve your financial goals. And I'm going to show you that formula because once you understand it and once you study it, which I'll be showing you, you'll be able to make it work for you. You'll be able to hack it and make it work for you so that this way you can move faster towards your financial goals. But it starts by understanding this secret formula. So we call it the secret formula, but it has a name. I'm going to give you the name here in a minute. So with that, buckle up and let's dive in. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this secret formula. The secret formula. Again, this is what I saw in the source code in the program that I was working on. And so let's start with, you have to understand first that this is a wealth principle. Okay, this is a wealth principle. You have to understand why that's important. So make sure you watch the video that talks about why wealth principles are critical. This is one of the level ones. We're level one. And the reason is because this helps you make better decisions. So I'm going to show you some math here. And I don't want you getting too stuck on the math. Okay? The reason I show math is because this is how I think. It tells me a story. But for many people, they're uncomfortable with that. And you will never use this formula ever. All of this does is it explain and help you make better decisions. So don't get too stuck on the math. Just understand the problem itself. Okay. So here's the formula I saw. Okay. So this is number one. So let's talk about what this is. So R is the effective tax rate. So this is what you're going to ask your accountant. Okay. So you plug in whatever number here. This is inflation rate. Okay. So let's just say that this here is, for example, 30%. Again, you would plug in, most people are going to be, well, it depends, but maybe a little bit higher than that. But let's just plug this in here. Okay. Again, you plug in the number from your accountant. So you're going to ask your accountant for your effective tax rate. Make sure you use the word effective. Okay. So let's say 30%. And you're going to plug in inflation rate. So you're going to plug in what you think inflation rate is. So if you're not sure, there's a website called Shadow Stats that can help you. Shadow Stats. But again, you can plug in whatever number you want in here. Okay. So let's plug in these numbers and see what happens. So, and I'll explain what B is. B is called a break even. Now make sure you stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to walk you through how to crack the code on this. So this is number one. So let's plug in some numbers here. So we're going to have B equals 0.06 on top divide by 1 minus 0.3 for 30%. Okay. So you're going to end up with 0.06 divided by 0.7. Okay. Now again, you can plug this into the calculator and I believe this is something like 8.57%. Okay. So this is the break even. This is the B. Now, what does that mean? By the way, this is on the low side. Most people are going to be higher than that. Now, what does that mean? Here's what this means. You have to attain in your portfolio 8.57% return every year, in a compounding manner, because inflation compounds, without leverage, without debt, okay, just to maintain your purchasing power. This is huge. Now, what does that mean? Let's just say that today, this is a timeline, and let's just say today, coffee is $1. Well, you want to make enough money so that in the future, coffee, let's just say, is $2. You want to make sure that you make enough money that you can still buy this. This is purchasing power. You can still buy the same coffee. So just to maintain your purchasing power, so if you have $1 today and you want to be able to buy the coffee in the future, you still have to generate a break even every year in a compounding manner to be able to maintain your purchasing power of the coffee. So in other words, you really want to do better than that. This is just to keep how much you can buy today. So I want you to imagine generating 8.57% on your whole portfolio. Your whole portfolio. I'm not talking about one deal here, folks. I'm talking about your whole portfolio has to generate this kind of return every single year. So here's what I'm saying. Let's look at it differently. I want you to imagine a box. And this box has 8.57%. Okay, this break even here. This means if you were to generate less than that, let's just say you generated 6%, you generated 7%, it means even though you're making money, so you're still making dollars, but you can purchase less. Your purchasing power, PP, purchasing power goes down. You can't afford to buy the same stuff. If you make 8.57, you maintain your purchasing power. Anything above that, let's just say 9%, 10%. Okay, remember, we're accounting for taxes and inflation. Your purchasing power increases. So what can you think about that will generate 8.57% in this example that is compounding every single year, which is very difficult, and beat this every single year just to maintain your purchasing power? What can you invest in? It's very difficult, but it gets worse. Okay, let's take it a step further. So think about this. What asset can you invest in for your whole portfolio? Okay, your whole portfolio, not just one part of your portfolio. This is your whole portfolio just to maintain your purchasing power, but you want to obviously increase your purchasing power. You don't want less. Okay, so every single one of you has a different break even, and you have to know that. Now, why is this important? This is critical because you have to know how to beat this. I'm going to share with you that it's pretty much impossible to beat this, but there is a way. There is a way. Obviously, one of the most important things you want to do is diversify. So you're not going to put all your money into one portfolio. So in other words, you decide, I'm going to take 50% of my money and put it into something low risk. Let's just say 2%. That means the other half, the other 50%, has to generate a bigger number. I'm going to make it up 16% or whatever, maybe higher, to maintain an average of 8.57%. So in other words, if half of your portfolio is in something low risk, you have to generate whatever this number ends up being to maintain this number, to average this number. In other words, you have to generate 16% every single year in a compounding manner just to maintain your purchasing power. You're not even building wealth at that point. Think about it. What can you invest in that generates 16% in a compounding manner every single year, year in, year out, only to maintain your purchasing power. You're not actually building wealth. Now you tell me, what are you going to invest in? You see, the system is wired to be very difficult to build wealth. And this is the formula. This is the formula right here. Think about this. Most experts, when you go to a financial expert, a financial planner, or a lot of the experts out there, they're showing off that they're getting you 4% to 6%, maybe 7%, when your break even is this. Okay, and then they're going to subtract fees and all of that stuff, right? We didn't even account for fees here. So what am I saying here? I'm saying the system is wired to be very difficult to build wealth. And this proves mathematically, this is the formula here, folks. It proves mathematically that it is very, very, very difficult to build wealth. So this is what the break even is. And this is called the break even formula. The break even formula. Okay. Let's go back to this. How on earth are you going to beat this? So in other words, whatever you invest in, you have to beat this number. Okay, you have to beat this number. And most investors have no clue between making money. See, making money is very deceiving, because you could be making money, let's just say 6% or whatever, and you can see dollars coming into your bank account, but your purchasing power, I'm going to write purchasing power here, is going down. So, and you're not going to find out until decades later. In fact, ask anyone who just retired, okay, or who's been retired, and they get to this point and they realize, all these years I've been making money, but I can't even afford the things I was able to afford 20 years ago. Why? This explains it. This is why in the software, with Quicken Financial Planner and Quicken, we had to calculate a lot of this stuff. And this formula was right in the midst of the source code, and the very core of the source code. And so what happens is, I realized since then, is a lot of financial planners have all this information, and then in the lower corner, they have a small thing here that says they're not accounting for inflation. Now you know why. Because it's very, very difficult to beat this number. Very difficult. Unless you know certain things, which we're going to talk about. Okay. So at this point, in the next video, I'm going to continue with this. Part 2 will explain this, but start by understanding here this. That's number 1, is understand that the break-even formula. This is it. Number 2, the difference between making money and purchasing power. And number 3, what this means. The portfolio, you must generate this number, whatever it is, in this example, 8.57%, compounding every single year without leverage, just to maintain your purchasing power in a compounding manner. Crazy. And then if you consider diversification, which you should, that means the number gets even higher, because these two have to average 8.5. So whatever this ends up being, I didn't calculate it. I just wrote this quickly here. So you have to generate this every single year in a compounding manner just to maintain your purchasing power. So this comes back to number 4 here. The system is wired to be very difficult to build wealth. That's why most people have to work for the rest of their lives thinking they're making money, but their purchasing power is going down. And they'll never know until it's too late, when they retire. And they start realizing, how come I can't afford the same things anymore? And I want you to understand this. This is what they see with their wealth. They think they're building wealth. This is them building wealth. This is maybe you building wealth. You see all your balances, everything going up. But reality is, there's another line, and this is your break even. You actually have to be doing better than that to build wealth. So if you're doing less than that, this is the break even here. That means you have to be doing better than that. So if you're generating 6 or 7%, this is you, but your break even is 8.57% here. So you're actually moving backwards. You're moving backwards, and you don't even know it. Backwards in terms of purchasing power. This is what you should be focused on. And guess what? Most people cannot attain this number. I'm going to show you how in the next video. So hopefully you enjoy that content. If you want more of that, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. We are big believers in sharing content and training that can change your life. Also, for anyone wanting a copy of the drawing I just did, download the PDF of that right below this video. You'll see a link in the description. Go ahead and download that. In fact, I would highly recommend you read some of the description we have because we always have links to videos in there that might be very appropriate or correspond to the one you just watched. Now, as a company, all we do day in and day out is we help people like you start seeing a transformation in their life. We focus on implementation. So anytime you're ready, we're here for you. Go ahead and click on the link below and let us know when you're ready and we'll get you going. Okay. So with that, I'll see you in the next video.